today I have a guest, my first ever collab. We have Ariel Bissett.
Hello!
And we've been thinking about what to film, and we literally couldn't really think until we had quite a long, in-depth discussion about which Jane Austen character we were, and then we were like, why don't we do a quiz?
Yep.
So we're gonna do one.
I'm very excited.
I've chosen a quiz I haven't done before because I
Cool.
tend to do these quizzes.
You've already done them. Okay.
Yeah, I've done all of them. That's just very important to my identity. It's kind of like, who am I? Before we start, who do you think you are? Like, because I'm guessing in reality they won't have all the characters. They'll just have like the main heroines.
Yes.
And there are some really great Jane Austen characters that I like.
Okay, so that's a pretty huge question because if we're also including the like male counterparts, then we'd be opening up a whole thing.
Yes.
So looking more at the heroines and some of the other lead characters, I guess. I was thinking about this, and I do feel most like Liz.
Yes, I would 100% say.
Which kind of feels weird to say because she's like the most famous and popular character.
Everybody-
It feels a bit like when people are like, I'm in Gryffindor. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we're all in Gryffindor. But like, I actually, when I think of it,
Lizzie,
that's
but
the
I
thing.
think you might be the only one who I've ever met who actually is. Like, I could never say I'm a Lizzie because I'm just really not.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, let's walk through them. And we can both just say like what percentage of them
let's
we
do
are.
this.
So starting with...
I'm not good at maths though, so I'm going to be with percentages.
Let's start with Catherine Morland from Northanger Abbey. I don't feel like I'm like her at all.
No, I don't think so.
Why do you feel like that you're like
Because I'm a very obsessive person. And so when I am like into something, I'm like, that is my entire world and my entire life. And I would go somewhere that I would thought was an abbey and was like, oh my god, okay, obviously he's going to have killed his wife and it's going to be this huge story, and I would 100% be in that mindset.
You'd like let that spiral.
But for me that's like an active imagination, but it's,
which it is for her too. It just becomes a bit too much. But
I think she's quite she's not a good judge of character. And I guess throughout the novel, obviously that is the whole idea of the plot, is that she becomes a good judge character, but I think I kind of have the imagination of Catherine without the naivety.
Yeah. Okay, I completely agree. So then in Sense and Sensibility, we have Marianne, Margaret, which everyone forgets about, and Eleanor. So I actually really most of the characters in this book. And whenever I watch the like adaptations, I really enjoy those characters. I actually feel like I am a lot like Margaret.
Yes.
Because you know, she just wants to explore, and she's kind of eccentric and quirky, and she's kind of weird. I am thinking of the adaptations and not of the book right now in my mind, because I like the adaptations.
Which adaptation?
What they do with Margaret. Well, in the Emma Thompson version, she's obsessed with the Atlas and she wants to be a pirate captain.
Yeah.
And I'm like relatable. Like all I wanted to be when I was a kid was a pirate. And then in the 2008 version, Margaret she's always talking about how annoying it is to be a girl because she can't go on adventures. And I know I would have been like that. But even though you get the sense like, okay, she's not allowed to go on adventures, I feel like Margaret is going to live an adventurous life. And I like to believe that I am also doing that. But she's also kind of like strong-willed.
Yeah.
So I relate to Margaret. And I also do relate to Eleanor, but more in an aspirational way.
Yes.
Like, I would like to be like Eleanor. I don't know if I am like Eleanor. I like to think that in tough situations, I do mainly remain calm.
Yeah.
And I am not the kind of person who really, like, cries at every situation. At every situation publicly and then, like, panics. Like, I do tend to, like, stay strong
Control yourself.
and then go to my room and cry. So that's why I feel more of an Eleanor than a Marianne. But you're definitely a Marianne.
Yes.
Last night, I was telling Claire about a thing that happened in one of my relationships that's really, really cute, and she started to actually cry, and I was like, what have I done? What have I unleashed? But that to me is so Marianne.
Yes.
Right?
I feel so strongly. Like, I really do.
And that's the thing about, you have seen the Jane Austen book club?
Yeah.
Do you remember in one of their discussions, Greg is which I love that name.
Me too.
He talks about how the reason that Colonel Brandon likes Marianne is because she's open with her emotions.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't hide them, she just embraces them and she feels them. And it's that generosity of emotion that, like, is attractive in Marianne. Yeah, so that's how I do think of you that way. Like, when you have an emotion, you experience it. And I like that. Like, instead of, like, people hiding it.
I think I'm just, as a person, I'm very much like, I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah, and that's Marianne. Yeah.
Like, verbal diarrhea of my feelings. So I think I fall in love also very, very quickly. And that hasn't turned out to be a bad thing, but if it was in the wrong hands, like someone like Willoughby.
I'm trying to think romance-wise which character I most like. And I might be a bit like Marianne when it comes to romance because I just jump in.
I also think you're an Eleanor though, because I think
yeah.
The whole idea, I guess, of like sensibility in like the 18th century is literally that you feel too much.
Yeah.
That you don't have the education to not let your feelings go over them. And I think you definitely I think you have like your heart is still like really massive obviously, but I do feel like you also go, okay, but what is
it's true. And like when I was going through a really difficult moment in one of my relationships, like my impulse was to stay calm and like call my advisors.
Yes.
Like I was like, okay, I need to it was like I need to think about this, I need to talk to people about it, I want to get different opinions, and then I'll reassess and I'll look at different factors in my life. Like, yeah, you're right, I was more calm about it in the fact that I was like, I want to make sure I'm making the right decision and it's not an impulse. Yeah, that's true.
Whereas I would be like reading Sylvia Plath and crying
I did cry a lot, but like Pride and Prejudice. We have Liz, obviously. And we have Jane, we have Lydia. Oh my god, I don't want anyone to be a Lydia.
You know what? There are so many Lydias in this world.
You know what? There are. You're right. And then we have Kitty, and then there's Mary.
Oh,
Mary. I feel so bad for Mary. Okay, pause. Little side tangent. Why didn't Mary end up with Mr. Collins?
I don't think Mr. Collins deserves someone like Mary.
But
Mary is like...
she's really weird.
No, but you know what? If you think about it, I like to champion those people because they are living outside of the constraints of the time. They're living outside what they should be.
That's true.
Mr. Collins is like... Charlotte Lucas is one of the best characters in that novel, genuinely. Because
Charlotte is probably my favorite character in that novel.
And also I
made a whole video about her like a long time ago.
Well, she marries obviously Mr. Collins, but you know she notices that she always says, "Oh, it's fine because he's in the garden and I stay up here."
Yeah, she's orchestrated her life in a way that she gets the benefits of a marriage. She gets to live on her own and have independence, but she doesn't have to see her husband because she clearly doesn't want one.
And that, for me, is like a feminist icon in the 18th century.
Yeah, but the same thing could have happened with Mary.
Yes, but Mr. Collins, no. No, I feel like...
Whenever I watch the adaptations, I have read the books. I just talk about the adaptations because I watch them more regularly, and that's what I like picture. But whenever I watch them, I'm always like, Mary would have totally married Mr. Collins, and then it would have been, she probably will never get married.
No, maybe not.
Like, and now she'll be fine because her sisters are wealthy and they'll give her money, but like, she could have married Mr. Collins, and I think she would have been quite happy because she's also very religious.
Yeah, but I also think if we're looking at it from like the perspective of it being in the 18th century, a woman who didn't marry, you know, they didn't die from childbirth. Like, they probably lived a really good life.
That's true. That's very true.
She probably was able to play the piano as much as she wanted to. And so I kind of feel like I would much rather be alone than in a relationship with Mr. Collins. And so I really hope Mary gets that.
Okay, but of those characters, I don't feel like Jane. I love Jane, but I don't relate to her very much because she just she's so shy.
Yes.
And she's so reserved with her feelings, and she doesn't like tell anyone what she's actually feeling. She also assumes the best of everyone at all times, and I do not relate. I try, but I'm also like, no. She's a bit too naive, like we said. But with Liz, the way that I kind of picture Liz is she's very independent. She's very strong. She really fiercely cares about her family, which I really relate to because I'm so close to my family. But she's like very loyal to her family and to her friends. Even when she understands that they're like ridiculous, she still like wants to help them, and protective. Yeah, and protective, because she like is literally yelling at Mr. Darcy, like, and it's kind of, you kind of get the sense that it's like, okay, I don't get to control my family, but they are mine, and you can't make fun of them like that. Like, that's ridiculous.
I can do that, but you can't.
Exactly. I also get the sense that, like, and this is weird, but hear me out.
Okay.
If any of the Austen women were to start a business, I think it would be Liz, because I feel like she enjoys being occupied with something that she cares about. Yeah. So like she's like
proactive.
Yeah, she's proactive, and she would be like have that entrepreneurial spirit of like starting an Etsy shop or starting a YouTube channel, where I don't think many of the others would. And I do think of myself as quite like entrepreneurial and ambitious, and I like to like do projects and start things and like work really hard. And other ones of the characters do work hard, but I just they don't strike me as entrepreneurial like Liz does, which is again weird, and I have very little backup for that. It's more of a vibe.
I think I'm a mixture of Kitty.
Okay. Just crying a lot and laughing a lot.
And Mrs. Bennet.
Oh my god, that's so funny, you're right. But like in only the best way, and only a little bit. Like it's a teaspoon of Mrs. Bennet.
I'm not that. I mean, I can be quite a serious person.
Yeah.
But I think I'm intellectual in a way that they're not. But I definitely, I mean, I do have a lot of problems with my nerves.
Yeah.
And I, would need someone to, I would need a Mr. Bennet, I think.
That's hilarious.
But I also think Kitty, because so Lydia is the one who kind of
is crazy.
Well, she takes a risk. I mean, ultimately, she's like really, really young, and she's basically groomed and basically abused. If we're going to be
I mean, if we want to talk about it.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, she flaunts it, and she's like, oh, I'm doing this with,
Yeah.
And Kitty's like, oh, but she's not doing it.
Right.
So she kind of likes the drama.
But she wouldn't actually probably do that.
And she's kind of a bit envious, and I feel like...
And there is a line where she says, like, why am I getting in trouble? I didn't do what Kitty did.
Lydia did.
Or sorry, what Lydia did. And so you're totally right. Like, she does enjoy it, and she does partake in the drama and joy, but she doesn't actually go out and do the same thing.
Also, I think nobody remembers Kitty because Mary has a distinct personality, and so she's kind of remembered, and obviously everybody remembers Lydia and everybody else. But Kitty's just kind of there.
Yeah. So you feel like that?
Maybe.
No. I think you are very Emma.
Yes.
But you are, once you said you were Mrs. Bates, it made me laugh. I don't actually think you're like Mrs. Bates, because Mrs. Bates is ridiculous. Yeah. Like, that's the problem with Mrs. Bates, right?
Yeah.
And she is frustrating and kind of sad. Like, she's very
she
denotes pity. Yeah. Is what she is.
I don't have
you don't pity. No. People don't look at you and think. But like, she does talk a lot, right? Yes. And I guess that's what you meant.
Yeah, talkative, yeah. I think if I had to pick one character, I know that, let's say if we do the quiz, it will 100% say I'm Marianne because of my emotions, but I think actually in personality I'm very close to Emma, and I know Jane Austen was like, oh, no one's going to like this character, and everybody kind of hates her because she's very spoiled, and she's me.
She's quite selfish, but I would say that she does still really care for the people that she loves.
She loves her dad.
She loves her dad to bits, her sister. Yeah. She loves her governess. What's her governess's name? Mrs. It's not Crawford, obviously. I forget, but she loves her governess to bits. She loves Mr. Knightley. Like, those people that are in her life, she cares for so deeply.
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel the same about this anymore, but when I first met you, you told me that you didn't really...
Taylor! Sorry, that's the good
It is, Mrs. Taylor, yeah. You used to tell me that you didn't really, like, travel that much.
Yeah.
Emma is completely uninterested in travel.
Wow. Is she? Because she's excited
to go to the sea, but she's very much happy to, like, do that once every 3 years, right? Yeah. Whereas most of the time she just wants to stay at home and, like, enjoy her home.
She's also the heroine who actually is an heiress.
Yeah, she's the richest of them all.
Yeah,
so she's quite comfortable.
She has, like, a big house. And
who wouldn't want to stay there?
I mean, I do love Jane Austen's, like, in Emma there's one because, actually I'm quite like her dad because he's a massive hypochondriac. But, like, you know, there's so much fear of, like, going to the seaside. It's really bad because loads of bad things happen at the seaside in Jane Austen novels.
All the time.
Like, every time.
Yeah.
And I also love that Emma's dad is also, like, really... Mr. Woodhouse is like, doesn't want anybody to eat cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, don't eat the cake. And I wouldn't be like that, I'd be like, I can eat the cake. But it's just cute, sorry.
Yeah, it is. No, it's adorable.
Okay. Who are you in that novel?
I actually don't really relate to any of the characters in that novel.
You're not a Jane Fairfax.
I don't like Jane Fairfax. So I better not be like her.
There's
Jane, there's Frank Churchill. There's Emma. I like Mr. Knightley a lot, but I don't know if I'm like Mr. Knightley. No, I don't really relate to him.
And you're not a Harriet either.
No, God, no. Neither are you.
No. Thank you.
Next up, Mansfield Park.
Yes.
I do feel a bit like Fanny, in that I feel like I'm calm like Fanny. But it's weird because there's a huge part of my personality that is very energetic. And that's why I feel like Liz. That's like the character I most like, but I'm also quite calm.
But then, so in the novel, Mary Crawford, like basically there is loads of times in the novel where the same words that I use to describe Lizzie are describing Mary Crawford. And it's the first time really that those two things are like, we associate them with being really good when they're Lizzie and then bad when Mary Crawford, because in comparison to like Fanny, she's really bad.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're like Lizzie, you probably have quite a bit in common with Mary Crawford. But I'm also a big believer in Fanny Price as actually being she's a very, very moral character.
Yeah.
And that can, especially now if we read it like with our like perspective from like this, where we live in this time. But if you kind of think, she's also like, she knows herself so strongly. And she doesn't really let anybody else take away from that. Like, she knows who she is and she knows what she believes in. And I think that is a quality that you definitely have. It might not be about God or not wanting people to do plays. But you definitely have that.
Oh, thank you.
But Fanny also gets forgotten about.
Yes.
People are just in rooms and then Fanny's like,
it's so sad.
It's really sad.
It is sad. Which I would just piece. I would be like, I'm gonna go in my room. I don't like it here. This is super nice. But she's kind of trapped because her family makes her stay there, or tell her to leave. Like they're very controlling of her.
She's like, go out in the sun and get like heat stroke, and then she's like, I have headaches. But it's like, because they've just like made you do this stuff.
It's awful.
And then her like aunt, I think it's her aunt, just sits there with like, so the aunt is basically like sensibility at the worst extreme.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I'm so tired, and you just make my lapdog.
I love her little dog.
Well, the thing is now, I'm like, isn't that the millennial goal?
Yes.
So what's happening? I don't know. Genuinely, that wasn't a point I had. I don't even believe in that. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sad that having a lap dog means that you're like, because I think it's like the dog is supposed to be really lazy just like her.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad because the dogs don't deserve that kind of rap.
And then the last one we have Persuasion.
Your favorite?
It is my favorite of the books. It's not my favorite of the movies, but it is my favorite of the books. And I love the story, but I don't relate to Anne. Because
really?
I don't feel like a pushover. I guess I relate to her when we meet her in the text, in that she is very sensible, very controlled, clever, knows what's going on. But I don't relate to her in that she like constantly kind of lets people push her around. And even Though, when, like, Persuasion is about the reformed Anne, right? It's about Anne level 2. She still makes all of these sacrifices that I think are kind of unnecessary. So she really wants to go to that dinner with Captain Wentworth.
Yes.
But then the kid breaks his leg or his spine. It's his spine, I think. No, it's his collarbone. Whatever.
Yeah.
The kid is hurt because he fell out of a tree. And her sister and her brother-in-law are both like, well, we want to go to the party. She's like, okay, fine, I'll stay. I wouldn't do that. I'd be like, dude, it's your kid.
Yeah.
Like, take care of your kid. I'm going to go see Mr. Wentworth.
I think
Captain.
I would probably be the Anne in that scenario.
I know that I would be, but I wouldn't want to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas she, like, seems to just take it, and she's like, no, this is my role.
I think she's such a hurt character.
She is. She's so wounded.
Yeah. And she's, like, quite depressed.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Jane Austen wasn't having a good time when she was writing the novels before, so it is, I mean, the tone is so different from the other novels.
It is. And it's so much shorter.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's comparable to Northanger Abbey,
it has the most beautiful kind of, like, the love letter.
Yeah.
And, like, it's that when kind of Captain Wentworth says, you know, I don't feel half, like, it's not like I feel less pain, like, I feel so much pain that's, like, ooh, you know, that kind of, like, sentiment that actually men don't feel less in relationships. And you can't say that I haven't felt the same way.
Yeah.
And I don't think that ever is said probably in literature before, because all of the characters, it's like, oh, you know, he just goes off, but actually Captain Wentworth has sat also with this pain that Anne's had.
Yeah.
I'm sure that if we were in their position, we'd be like, Anne, don't, because you won't have a good quality of life.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then
It's
they
tricky.
always come back rich and handsome, and then it's fine.
All right, let's do your quiz. Which Austen heroine are you? Are you social and quick to help others, romantic and passionate, practical and circumspect, witty and sparkling, quiet and loyal, innocent and romantic, self-sacrificing and constant?
Romantic.
That's really hard. I feel like I'm multiple of those things.
Yeah.
But
I would say romantic and passionate. I don't know. Yes, no, definitely.
I'm feeling...
I already know I'm going to be Marianne.
I mean, I'm feeling romantic and passionate.
Yeah.
Because I do feel...
Not witty and sparkling? I would 100%... Not that you're not also romantic and passionate.
I do feel that one very closely
I think
too. You
you
think
are-
I'm more that
yeah.
one? Okay, I'm gonna go with that one. You're a kind of beauty. Wow, here we go. Dark and slightly exotic. Mature. You were considered pretty when you were younger. Fair. Characterized by bright eyes and good teeth. Not immediately noticed. Healthy and elegant. I love this quiz. Your height and size are quite pretty and your complexion radiant. Loveliness itself. Or youthful and earnest. Almost pretty. Almost pretty. I feel like I'm almost pretty.
I have eyes. I have big eyes.
Yeah, you do.
But...
Do you have great teeth?
No. I think I'm healthy and elegant.
Yeah.
Because...
I'm also going to go with that one because it seems the most normal to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Your hobbies involve romantic stories, romantic adventures, singing, playing the pianoforte, living passionately. Many things. You take pleasure in a variety of pastimes. Taking care of what needs to be done, you usually don't indulge your own whims, but you do enjoy painting. Your love's wishes. Helping others, improving others, hosting parties, being the queen bee. Travel and adventure, reading horrid novels, or listening to others, bettering your mind through foreign languages.
Romantic stories, the first one for me.
Oh, I think...
Literally Marianne.
I feel like many things. I take pleasure in a variety of pastimes. Your ideal mate is surprisingly undashing, but romantic in a quiet way. Unpretentious and loving. Proud and a bit standoffish, but kind-hearted and passionate. A bit blind to your charms, and sometimes blindsided by a pretty face and sharp wit. God, I hope it's not that one.
I was going to say.
A good judge of character with a playful sense of humor. Constant. Mature, generous, and good-looking. Ooh.
I thought I was going to be the first one, actually. Surprisingly undashing. Well, not me, but my ideal mate. But actually, I think constant for me.
That's the one I'm leaning
Yeah.
towards. Like, I just like someone who's steadfast, loyal, yeah. Okay, which most accurately describes your family relationships? Whew, here we go. You tend to mother hen everyone because you have your head on straightest. You and your mother are most alike. Your sister ends up taking care of you both sometimes. You get on best, that's like Bella.
Yeah.
You get on best with your father and eldest sister. Your mother and other sisters are completely unlike you. You're an only child and tend to baby your father. Emma. That's Emma one. Your family barely notices you. You're a bit immature, but your parents both love you. Your family doesn't appreciate you as much as they ought.
You do that one.
I don't really know which one to click because I'm like very close with all of my family. I'm gonna go with the second one.
Yeah,
but,
you and your mother most alike.
Okay, which most accurately describes your faults?
So many.
You feel deeply, but you let few know. You are often extremely emotional and usually too brutally honest. You're often short with people who annoy you.
No.
You have a slight tendency towards prejudice. Perhaps you ought to get to know people better before you judge them. You're a bit of a snob and you tend to meddle.
I tend to meddle, but I'm not a snob.
You're not a snob at all. You tend towards priggishness. You're naive. You are easily persuaded when you know you ought to stand firm.
That's hard because there are loads that actually don't make sense. Like, I'm
Yeah.
extremely emotional, but I'm not brutally honest.
I'm gonna go with the first one. I feel too deeply, but I don't let people know.
Oh, I want to say tendency towards prejudice, which I don't actually think is true. But I do judge people, and then I kind of check myself.
This is just way more extreme than we would answer for anything. If you were portrayed in a film or a TV movie, I love that it's just the people. But I have to go with Keira Knightley because she's my favorite actress of all time, and I'm obsessed with her, and I don't even care if this is accurate or not.
I think I'm probably very Felicity Jones.
You are so Felicity Jones.
And also, she's basically from the same place I'm from. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we need to be friends, Felicity.
Which best describes the way you see and deal with people? You're a pretty good judge of character, but you aren't too vocal about what you discern. You are sometimes insensible to vital qualities, especially when blinded by dazzling romantic characteristics in someone else. The more you see of the world, the less you're inclined to think of it. Everyone is a project. You distrust people who are different than you. You assign motives based on your own pure feelings. You're impressed by good people and informed company. Vanity and social climbing don't interest you. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that last one because I feel like more and more as I get older, I'm very like not that interested in having lots of friends. I just like finding people that I'm like, these are really cool people.
Cool. I made the cut. I would say you assign motives based on your own pure feelings because I often put my own like, oh, they're obviously doing that or they're obviously doing this. Like I often attribute the stuff that I'm thinking that I must be thinking that way, I must be feeling that way. So maybe that one.
Right. Okay. How do you love? Quietly and steadfastly, passionately, almost to death. Faithfully once you discover how much it is deserved. Without realizing it, blindly. You're too young to truly understand love sometimes, but it certainly must be like a novel. You love long even when hope is gone. Whew.
I think passionately, almost to death.
Okay, this sounds weird. The way they've worded it is weird, but I'm gonna go with faithfully once you discover how much it is deserved. Because like once someone has proved to me that I think that they're gonna be like a really good partner, then I'm like there. Then I'm theirs. I am hesitant at first, but I also like, I guess because if we're talking like about right now with Ben, like I'm annoyed that he can't fit in my pocket. You know, like I'm literally just like, like I literally kind of like squeeze too hard and I love it. Yeah. To death. Okay, your best friend is me.
Yes.
Is your younger sister, your older sister, your neighbor, a random nice person who needs you, your cousin, who's also your love interest, your boyfriend's sister, you have many friends who depend on you. I mean, I'm gonna go with my younger sister because it's my brother, who is my younger brother.
I want there's no my mom option.
Yeah,
that's
true.
My mom is 100%. I love my mom.
Yeah, there should be a mom option. And you go with your older sister. That's kind of like the closest to mom.
I also feel like your boyfriend's sister. I feel like I would kind of.
I get that one.
I'm gonna go with that because actually it's kind of slightly neutral, like invested in the relationship and the family, but not. We can still go like, bitch on you. Like you can still kind of like.
Yeah.
Meddle.
And finally, how do you cope with crises? You try to be responsible, do your part, roll with the punches. Drama, sometimes you completely lose it, other times you complain about it. Frustration and worry. You don't deal with crises, probably because they often take you by surprise. You let others deal with it and congratulate yourself for being right all along. You can't believe that people treat each other that way, or you react quickly and expertly.
Now, how do you think I'd react in crisis?
I feel like it's the second to last one. You can't believe that people treat each other that way, because when I was telling you like a story yesterday, you were very much like, I just can't believe it.
Yeah. Sometimes I actually surprise myself that when stuff goes wrong, I actually go like, right, we're doing da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And I always surprise myself, because you'd think that I would flap and cry and panic, but actually it's like, there's loads of times when I realise I've lost a train ticket and I'm supposed to be on my train, and I'm like, no, it's fine, we just have to do this.
Yeah.
And then we're fine, we'll get there. And I suddenly go very like, I don't know, good at dealing in moments of stress.
Yeah.
Which is unlike, let's say, what Marianne would do.
Yeah.
So I think I need to pick one, because that is how I react when stuff goes wrong.
Yeah, you should do the last one then. I'm gonna go with the last one.
Yeah, that's so surprising for me, because I also worry, but I almost like stop worrying, and I get to like a point of paralyzed worry when I go really tight and wound up, but it allows me to go like, right, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And then I suddenly become like a dictator and like, right, Ben, grab your bags, we're off.
All right, it's time to click. Which heroine am I? I'm very curious.
I'm gonna close my eyes until it's loaded. Actually, I won't know when
it's taking forever to load.
Oh no.
Load.
No.
Oh, it loaded.
What are you?
I'm Elizabeth Bennet.
100%. Like, that was what we said at the beginning.
It says you are.
I think I'm going to be surprised by mine, actually.
It says you are Elizabeth Bennet. You are intelligent, witty, tremendously attractive. I mean, I don't know. Not handsome enough to tempt me. You have a good head on your shoulders and oftentimes find yourself the lone beacon of reason in a sea of ridiculousness. You take pleasure in many things. You are proficient in nearly all of them, though you never own it. Lest you seem too perfect, you have a tendency towards prejudgment that serves you very ill indeed.
Oh! It came through.
You're Marianne.
Yeah, exactly what we said.
Yeah.
You are Marianne Dashwood. You are Marianne Dashwood of Sense and Sensibility. You're impulsive, romantic, impatient, and perhaps a bit too brutally honest. You enjoy romantic poetry, novels, and play the pianoforte beautifully. To boot, your singing voice is captivating and you feel deeply and love passionately.
That is true.
Yeah, that's the thing. I literally was like, from what we said at the beginning, it's like, yeah, you're 100% Lizzie Bennet. Because I think that is actually a character that literally nearly everyone, I feel like you tick.
Thank you.
Whereas I feel like I tick half of Emma and half of Marianne.
Yeah, I think you are those two characters combined for sure.
Which are often the characters that people hate the most in the novel. I'm quite a likeable person, really, but... Yeah.
Oh man. Alright, well we did it.
I will link the quiz in the description, and I want you all to do it. Or just tell me who you think you are.
And why.
Yeah, but I hope you enjoyed this video.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my first ever collab. Is that how you say it? Collab?
Yeah,
collab. I will link Ariel's video that we'll film together and Ariel in the description, even though I'm sure that you already know who Ariel is. Let me know who you identify as. Bye.
Bye.